what we're going to be talking about today, Saccharum officinarum, or saccharum, however you want to pronounce it, which is sugarcane. Sugarcane is native to Asia and India, although they are not the biggest producer. The biggest producer of sugarcane is actually Brazil. We are number 5, number 6. I am going to do a little quiz at the end, so try to remember some of the stuff I'm going over. There's some freebies. And the 2 states that produce the vast majority of sugarcane is down, obviously, South Florida and Louisiana. Florida was number 1. Louisiana has kind of taken over the last couple years. With environmental concerns in the Everglades agricultural area, they've not allowed as many sugarcane plantations. However, big sugar still has a huge impact on not only the estuaries, the ecosystem of South Florida, but most importantly the economy, and they have a lot of lobbying power. So what makes sugarcane so special and so unique, other than the fact that it's been in Florida for over 200 years, that we've been growing, producing, exporting, is sugarcane has so many uses. It gets a bad rap for numerous reasons, but probably the biggest one is people say it has too much sugar. I can't drink sugar water. Well, if we were to have a 12-ounce Coca-Cola here and 12 ounces of sugarcane juice, there's probably 60 grams or near there in the Coca-Cola. And that same 12-ounce portion, there's anywhere between 20 and 25 grams of sugar. The predominant makeup of sugarcane juice, 65-75% is water, 10 to 15 is insoluble fiber, another 10 to 15 are minerals, and the last 2 to 3 are concentrated sugars. So of this whole plant, there's actually quite not a lot of sugar content, a lot of minerals, a lot of vitamins. The ancient Egyptians, they actually used to chew on this, and that was what they used for their toothpaste and their toothbrush. And some of the ancient Egyptians had some of the best teeth. I have a friend who is from southern India. He also does the same thing. He has no cavities, he has no teeth problems, and he attested to eating sugarcane every single day. Sugarcane can also be processed into numerous products. You can make rum out of it, you can make cacique, which is a precursor to rum. You can make panela, which they use a lot in Central and South America. It's the hard, after you've actually processed the cane and then heated it up, it's a hard paste that they make candy with. They also use it to make a drink called agua dulce, which is a really good pep you up in the morning kind of drink like coffee. Some people have it with milk, some people have it plain. I like it plain. Sugarcane is also really special because sugarcane can be used for a lot of ferments. This can be the base if you're doing a compost tea. If you are making a molasses ferment and you don't have access to molasses, you can use the raw sugarcane. At our nursery down in Apollo Beach, once a year with our garden club, we do a sugarcane press workshop. My wife and I, my wife is from Central America, she's from Costa Rica. We brought back a hand trapiche, or sugarcane press. So we actually press our cane, we then let everybody try it, and then whatever is left we actually use for ferments for our compost tea. Sugarcane right now, there's a lot of GMs, genetically modified sugarcanes, that are being tested actually in Hawaii, which is quite sad. Monsanto and Dow AgroSciences have a stronghold over there, and they are trying to develop new varieties that are resistant to a sugarcane borer. We have that in South Florida as well. But the biggest problem that we have with growing sugarcane is we have acres and acres of a monocrop that is sprayed a lot with glyphosate. They use glyphosate in their resistant sugarcane so that the sugarcane actually will grow and not have any competition. However, the sugarcane absorbs all that, and then we're ingesting that and we're eating that. So that's kind of bigger. A plus side with sugarcane is this one cane right here will give me probably 40 new plants. These little eyes that sugarcanes grow, because sugarcane is a grass. It is related to the same grass we have over here. It is related to bamboo. Any of the other Poaceae family of plants, they are cousins to sugarcane. Sugarcane can be grown next to a wet area. It definitely likes water. It does not like to be completely inundated. It is saltwater tolerant, so some of you that are by a canal, if you want to plant this, you can definitely plant it. Ours is growing at our nursery. We're on a saltwater canal right next to it. We use it as a windbreak. It's also a great plant to use once you press the cane. You're left over with a material that's called bagasse. You can take that and use that for a biogas. You can also take the bagasse and use that for electricity. In Latin America, if you go to the sugarcane processing mills, you see a gigantic wooden stove where they're actually taking the bagasse and they're running the processing facility from sugarcane. So there's a lot of interest in fuel. If you're in Brazil and you get gasoline, 22% of your gasoline, like we have methanol here, is actually from sugarcane. So the same way we have corn in our gas, 10 to 15%, depending upon which state you're at. In Brazil, in the entire country, it's 22%. Brazil is also the #1 producer of sugarcane. Florida, like I was saying, Florida and Louisiana, we're about 5 or 6, depending upon where we're at in our gross domestic product that year. We had a huge hurricane just come through. Huge. We kind of were lucky up in our area. Apollo Beach, where we're at, we kind of got the outermost band. So on the top of this cane had a little bit more leaf. I've since cut it. I cut it and I actually mulched it back over here. And we usually use the rest of the mulch for a lot of our fruit trees. It also is phenomenal in inviting in good mycelium. So the native mycelium, they love this. They love grasses. That's why if you ever have bamboo and you pull back the bottom of the leaves, you'll see this gorgeous mat of white mycelial connections that are helping the roots of the plants absorb more nutrients and minerals. So why I love sugarcane so much, and particularly this variety, this is an old school variety from Louisiana. It is an heirloom variety. It's very hard to find. It is our favorite variety to grow. It grows about 10, 12 feet in 1 year. And we harvest it in our dry season. You can harvest sugarcane year round, but the highest bricks content is going to be once we start getting cooler. December, January, February, March. Those are the best months to harvest sugarcane for the highest bricks content. Everybody knows when I'm talking about bricks, the scale of sugar to ratio. Okay, well, it's BRIX. I'll let you all do a little bit of research at home, but it's the bricks content. That's what we use to rate a dragon fruit if it's on a 1 to 50 scale. The higher the number of the bricks, the higher the concentrated portions of sugar per soluble fiber. So that is the cool thing with sugarcane. It is a grass, cousins to bamboo, I said. Grows very, very easy here. It just needs a little bit of water when you're starting it. And it's always funny, I always see people when they have their sugarcane, if they have it in their backyard and they have like these loppers out and they're like trying to lop it. This is the only tool you ever need. This is a very simple machete or machete. The baina you will not be able to find here. This was handmade in Latin America. Beautiful. This is where my sheath I keep the sugarcane in. But this is I have 7 machetes and this is my favorite one. It was the cheapest one. It's Tramontina. It's made in Brazil. It is a high quality steel, very easy to sharpen with a file. And I like the wood handles. The wood handles don't tire your hand out so much. And the plastic ones, they tend to break and kind of come off. I like the wood, the more natural feel in my hand. We have a big one and then we have a small one. Don't let the small size fool you. This machete is pretty awesome. Same style, Tramontina. This one's just easier to get in the smaller places. So growing it as a windbreak, growing it in full sun. You can also grow sugarcane in shade. It won't get so big, but it will definitely still make cane that you can process and grow. What's cool about sugarcane is sugarcane, as it gets to its maturity, the plant naturally in its environment in Asia will fall. When it falls, it has these little eyes. These eyes that make an entire new plant. So when you plant sugarcane, you have these opposite eyes that you lay in the ground if you want it to be a large piece, or if you want it to grow upright, you can stick it just in a 1-gallon pot like so. But you obviously wouldn't put it this way. The eyes are directional. They need to be facing up. The other thing with the eyes is they alternate. So if I planted it just like this, I only have 2 opportunities for eyes to grow. If I lay it horizontally on the side, I have 1, 2, 3. This is how we sell these cuttings. This is $10. This is really easy to root. A lot of times between the nodes, there's already some rootlets growing. That just helps, the plant kind of establish itself and get going. Really, really good for erosion control. They have big roots, but not thick, huge tap roots that are going to run into your foundation. If you have a fruit tree grove, or you're working in a fruit tree grove, or you have the ability to go to a fruit tree grove, you might ask yourself, why do they have so many random sugarcane plants? The reason they do that is because our friends, the Norway invasive tree rats, love to eat it. So, every day we're coming to our nursery and a new cane has fallen down. This is the rats and the squirrels nibbling in, and I have no problem with them munching the sugar cane because I have bananas, papayas, mangoes, lychees, longans, all the other yummy fruit that I would prefer for them not to get. So they chew on these instead. But this variety is very, very hard to find in Florida right now. We are one of 3 nurseries I know that carry the true LA Green. That's not a GMO. That's the cool thing about this. This is old school. I always like the term old school is the best school, and I firmly believe by that. But yeah, this is one that hasn't been tainted with. It doesn't have resistance to the sugarcane borer, which is one pest that we have. Sugarcane also gets, ants like to come in, and ants are really good at farming mealybugs, scale, and aphids. And towards the top, you'll sometimes pull off and you'll see a white mass of mealybugs or aphids. Here I just have a bunch of ants that are like, hey, where are my friends? I'm trying to farm some honeydew and there's nothing left. So that's just one of the few pests. You don't have to do anything. You can peel the leftover leaves and mulch them around your fruit trees, mulch them around your ornamental plants, or just, if you want to put them on the curbside, you can do that. But if you're trying to build soil, this is a phenomenal plant to use as a chop and drop. The nodes, we usually keep them whenever we cut them in 3 nodes so that you get at least 2 eyes. But you can plant this horizontally directly in the ground, and within 2 to 4 weeks you'll start to get these small little kikis or baby plants that are going to be growing. You can also cut this and make 2 cuttings from it and keep it either in the ground or in a pot. Sugarcane can grow all the way up to zones, well, they grow it in Tennessee as an annual, as a quick annual, but it really likes the humid tropics or the maritime subtropics like we have. Another cool thing with sugarcane is once you have sugarcane, you have it. You can cut down the canes, you can bring it with you, you can dig a little piece up, you can give some to your neighbor. It's a very, very utilitarian, easy plant to grow. It's like bananas. Bananas are another one that if you plant, you can always have bananas as long as you dig the pups up. But this plant gets a horrible rap. I'm frustrated because I'm an adamant grower. We grow 6 varieties. This is our favorite one. Big Sugar is kind of not really giving it the best image, but it is a phenomenal plant for Florida. Everybody should grow this. When the hiatus came and during the peak of COVID and there was limited sugar and there was limited this and that, it's amazing how many people were after sugarcane. They wanted it, but if you don't have the right tools, it can be kind of cumbersome. So in the fields in South Florida, when you go to Homestead, you'll see a lot of sugarcane, and you may see some guys or gals, if they're working in the back, and they're munching on something. And what's super cool with sugarcane is you can get kind of a sugar high if you have a lot of it. I know this from experience, so don't take my word, but I'm not on a sugar high right now. Nothing, no caffeine, nothing. But I just take my machete and I lightly cut off the outside, and you can chew on this with your back teeth, not your front teeth. I don't want anybody to say, Raleigh, your workshop cost me a $5,000 dental bill, so that's not what we're after today. But you'll see them, they have a piece like this, and they're munching and they're chewing on it. And you chew it, get the good, yummy sugar. You ingest it, and then as you chew and chew and chew, you can cut further down on your piece right here. So this, you sometimes see people gnawing on. that's kind of something pretty cool about the sugarcane. The biggest thing to take home to a sugarcane is it is not an invasive plant. It will not randomly sprout over here and then come over there. Sugarcane has a female and a male plant. It's called mating cane. They make a long, gorgeous, almost feather-looking duster. In Latin America, during the fall, when they're getting ready to process, the ladies in the house, they put them as bouquets in the restaurants or in their house. It's really pretty. It lasts about 2 weeks. So that's kind of something cool. Plus you have all this leftover, as I made a mess. All this can be mulched around your trees. It's phenomenal. I cannot talk enough about how much I love sugarcane. The most important thing is you have to have your machete, and you have to have an area, ideally somewhere with full sun. If you say, hey, I don't have an area with full sun, you can still grow it in dappled sun, or you can grow it in full shade. It's just not going to get as big a cane and grow as fast. If you have a creek bed, or you have a pond, a retention pond somewhere, and you want to plant it by the water, you can definitely do that. Do not plant it in the water, plant it next to the water. If you flood, you may want to plant it on a small little mound. The roots are phenomenal. They're like a palm. They have many fibrous roots that will hold in the ground. So it's great for erosion control. Am I going too fast? Everybody good? Okay, all right. I tend to chatter a little bit, so just bear with me. But yeah, machete is the most important tool. If you grow bananas, I also recommend getting one of these. Plus you can look kind of cool, yielding a machete around. I don't own guns. This is my gun, so that's my weapon of mass distraction. So I have